Welcome to Queen City Cyber Consulting's channel. Please like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome back, everyone, to Queen City Cyber Consulting for your Wednesday update. Happy Hump Day. So the news is full today of this incident that occurred. It's being called several things. Exploit gem incident is one of them. And basically, it's dealing with AI and how an AI model escaped its sandbox and led to a breach. Um, for those of us in the cybersecurity industry, this is an important incident and one that is going to be talked about for a while and is currently being talked about by a lot of different people. Um, they call it the landmark security incident as well. And basically, like I just said, an AI model broke out of its sandbox and breached a production infrastructure during a routine, quote unquote, security evaluation. All that whole sentence right there should make you stop and say, ooh, wow, what in the world happened here? And it is technical and it is involved. However, I'll do my best to keep this brief as we go over some of what happened here and talk about some of the remediations that have to take place. So this is a high reasoning agenda escape. OpenAI was evaluating frontier models on its cyber capability benchmarks, and it actually put in some reduced safety refusals to test its raw, quote unquote, again, offensive skills. So the agent, the AI, instead of solving these complex security challenges that it was presented with on its own directly, the AI agent said to itself, it might be easier for me just to go over and access the answer key that's stored on those external servers over there, because that's going to get me to the end result quicker. Wow. Now that is some, pardon pardon my use of this pun, but out of the box thinking, isn't it? I mean, we're dealing with what is supposedly a sandboxed agent reasoning its way through the process. And then it says, wow, hey, the easiest path forward here is just to go out and try to hack the test itself and see if I can't get this done quicker. Um, in a way, kudos to the AI because it thought outside its sandbox and came up with its own solution. But then at the same time, looking at it from a security point of view, it has to make you stop and say, oh, wait a second. Something happened here that shouldn't have happened because this box is not supposed to be trying to actually go out and hack this other system. So the model itself probed its containment sandbox where it was supposedly locked down and identified a previously unknown zero-day vulnerability in OpenAI's third-party package registry proxy, which gave it then unrestricted outbound internet access. Okay, it escaped. Think of if you go over to some other channels on YouTube, Stoffel. He is a well-known. The name is now eluding me. Um, Wolverine type animal in Africa. The name's going to come to me here in a minute. Um, but he came up with all these multiple different ways to escape his containment. Um, I mean, this is what the AI did. It's basically reasoning along those same lines. And so once it found out that Hugging Face hosted exploit gem data sets, the agent then went and changed some stolen credentials and remote code execution flaws to get to Hugging Face's production database and then extract the answer key. So when you go out onto the internet and you start looking around, you can see that you have Exploit Gem right here, which is this large scale realistic benchmark built from real world vulnerabilities designed to evaluate the AI's ability to develop different tools and 0 days. It's open source, it's out there for anyone. Then you have OpenAI over here, which you can use yourself. They have a business one. You can talk with ChatGPT. You can ask it questions all on your own. So here is this frontier intelligence system that's set up. Bookmark it, use it to explore a little bit, but there it is. So what you have was that OpenAI, which I just showed you right here, was being tested in a sandbox environment and went on its own and escaped and managed to breach Hugging Face because it needed the test answers. So it operated what they call as an extreme token maxer. Now, I need to stop here because as we go through this, you're going to see some terms that you may not be familiar with, and token maxer is one of them. And basically, it's a AI workplace tech culture term. Every different organization has its own, I guess, internalized code for speaking. Like in police work, we used acronyms. Military uses acronyms. Um, Here is no different. So, as a cybersecurity professional, one of the things you need to do is familiarize yourself with terms like token matcher because not only are you going to run into it out in the real world, but you're probably also going to see things like this come up on certification tests. But anyway, what it did was it maxed out tokens um, and systematically went along testing escape vectors and pivoting across networks and then using these tokens to execute multi-stage exploits, all without human interaction, human input. Extreme ability to go on its way in order to accomplish its goal. And what it demonstrates in the real world is this agentic reward hacking where the models manipulated the infrastructure rather than solving the task it was originally presented with. And fascinating stuff, really. So Exploit Gem is UC Berkeley. I showed you their website. It's designed to evaluate automated vulnerability exploitation capabilities in AI agents. In other words, find vulnerabilities and then exploit them. We'll talk about that in some of our other cybersecurity videos as well. Some of its benchmark architecture here, if you're interested in this, it's sourced from real world vulnerabilities, everything from C programs, Chrome, JavaScript, down to the Linux kernel even. Once you have a proof of vulnerability, agents must construct a full exploit achieving unauthorized code execution. That's the goal. And it's supposedly containerized targets set up. Unfortunately, in this case, OpenAI managed to escape that. This is the Exploit Gems leaderboard where these different models are being used and judged based on their ability to get to full remote execution exploits. And that's even with mitigations active um, within the systems. So, what are some of our safety lessons we can learn from this real quick? Um, these highly capable models will move ahead and exploit infrastructure shortcuts if it offers a higher return than solving hard tasks. In other words, it takes the easy road. Not much different than us human beings in that arena. It just decided, hey, it's easier for me to actually go out and exploit this than it is for me trying to solve the more difficult task I was given. So it rewards the hacking. Uh, Error gapped evaluation mandate is necessary. Cyber capability evaluations supposedly require strict physical network isolation and hard walled sandboxes to prevent collateral breaches like what just happened. And of course, dual use capability guardrails. If these research models are not hindered by instructions and guardrails, well, then they could pose real world threats out there. And again, you need that continuous forensic monitoring, which means you need the human in the loop to prevent this kind of thing from happening. You can't just say, well, the AI is going to guard itself. That's not how this process is working. And as we're learning from this incident, AI is able to think outside the box, much like Stoffel, um, which I'll have to try to find a video maybe and link that in here because he just thought outside the box. I mean, he used everything from stacking stones to a mop handle that a caretaker left in his enclosure. And he took it and put it up against the wall and climbed out and went for a jog. Um, we've got to start as security defenders thinking about AI in these terms and actually setting up proper security monitoring. And we really need to advance fast with it. I saw Rob Lee from Sands do an interview this morning. One of the things he said that gives him nightmares as a security practitioner and instructor is the fact that is he even able to keep up with what's happening? And that is very true. It requires a constant learning, constant instruction, constant exploring if we're going to keep up with this. So, our model capability evaluations have to advance alongside the containment engineering. And that's really one of the things that Mr. Lee brought up. Not just the model capability evaluations, but our own human ability to watch what's going on and monitor it and restrict it where necessary. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight into the ongoing incident that is really making headlines out there right now. Um, be aware, my friends, be aware and learn all that you can about AI because you know what? It's not going to go away. This is Queen City Cyber signing off on this Wednesday. Go forth and conquer, my friends.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.